information because I'm paying attention to what you're able to do. So I'm going to show you where this data gets processed in your brain. It's huge. Do this. The entire top surface of your brain is devoted to sensory motor, sensation and movement, and they are, do this, hardwired together. What you feel drives what you do. What you do drives what you feel. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And there is wiring between what you see and what you do. And there is wiring in a normal brain between auditory processing and sensory motor processing. So if I were to say for two of you all, stand up, we're going to go downstairs, your brain would take in that auditory data, translate that into an action statement, and get your body organized to stand up, and you would even know where we were heading. Now, by late stage dementia, that's exactly what people with dementia hear when we try to give them auditory data. They lose the content, but they keep the rhythm, and they can't figure out what we're trying to get them to do. And it's not because they're not trying, and it's not because we're not trying. It's because we're using the wrong system for what they have left.
So have you ever noticed that people in late or later stages of dementia seem to have trouble understanding what you want them to do or doing it? Have you ever noticed that? That people with dementia or later stages having trouble understanding or doing what you're asking them to do?
I notice on the unit where I am, yes.
Okay. What have you noticed? Can you share an example that you might have come across?
They are very intent on watching you. And I think they're looking for clues.
Good. Good.
You're smart.
Oh, no. No.
So that's a good point that you brought in. They're watching you and they're looking
Right.
for clues.
Right.
You know why that might be? That they're watching you and wanting or looking for clues like you.
Well, I think maybe they realize they need help.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else that have any other thoughts around why?
Mohamed, can I jump in and support you here? So let's think about the ways to take in information. What did Teepa say is the biggest one? What are we all doing right now?
Visual.
Sight.
Visual. And the last one to go. So why do you think those folks with dementia are watching us? Because they still got it.
See it.
Oh, yeah, right, okay. All right.
They can still get the information they need that way, the visual center. Sorry,
Thank you, Jess. No, thank you.
I have a question
Yes.
in all of this visual. Would I be correct in assuming that the person watching me is watching to see if I look angry or upset?
Yeah, are you okay with me echoing
I'm
the
getting
question
that-
out so that
I'm
everybody can
getting
hear?
that kind of feedback.
Yeah. So she asked if the reason someone with dementia might be watching is to know if she's angry or upset. And I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, I think that would be a reason. We're all looking for emotional cues. And what Teepa said in the beginning of the video is even after we lose the ability to connect language, we can still visually see, is this person angry? Are they frustrated? Are they happy? So you can still pick up on that. So I think you're 100% right. That's exactly why they're watching you.
So like you said, they're looking for clues. They're looking for clues. Because one of the things that goes with dementia is their ability to understand what you're saying. Like Teepa showed in our video, towards the end, all they hear is just sounds. not words, they're hearing sounds. So visually, they can still see. So that's the main reason. So we're gonna partner up, and Jess, I'm gonna
Can I have you jump in?
have you jump in and join our newcomer.
Can I partner with you? Oh. I don't care. I don't know anybody.
So the question here is, how does this activity and processing help you better understand why problems sometimes arise when we are trying to help someone? So how does this activity and processing help you better understand it? So why, when we're trying to help someone with dementia, and we're trying to give them,
Or many times you're trying to make them do what you want them to do, and they fight back.
exactly, because what we call that here is our agenda. Because we come with our agenda, and we want our agenda to be number one. And that's not the agenda. What else? I'm gonna have you guys partner up and have some discussion around this, and then we're gonna share that to the group.
But the agenda might be something you need to do,
Yes, yes.
and they don't think so.
How do you have to make them think that you are doing it with them, not to them.
Yes.
I suppose you use the word. And like I say with my husband, he's able to do all things, yeah.
Are you and your husband here in Shelburne today?
We're at the
In
Meadows.
Or
At Meadows,
at the Meadows?
yeah, because we're not in the hospital, we're upstairs from the locked memory care. We're
Yes,
on the
you're
second
in
floor.
on the second floor.
Yeah,
So
And you have an apartment there?
yes, we do.
together.
I'm gonna bring us back
Yeah.
to share what you guys had discussed with the group.
We could, occasionally, we could arrange to come out into the bigger dining room, but we haven't done that, we have only here at Shelburne. We came here
So you guys mind sharing what some of the things that you had discussed?
February.
What about the group in the back?
I had to go to the hospital right after. So, anyway, that interfered with getting things set.
What about Jess's group?
So we talked a little bit about how sometimes people with dementia, if they're in their familiar surroundings, won't even know that they have dementia. And how that can be confusing for other people who are engaging with them.
I'm free to come out here.
When I saw them a year ago,
Yeah.
they would come back from the dam. She
If
would
I
drive,
wish.
she couldn't drive anymore, even when they lived here.
What about you guys? What did you discuss that you can share with us?
We talked about being here and where we are and
Okay.
getting acquainted.
Okay. So one of the things that we were gonna, I'm glad you brought that up, because the next question we're gonna discuss is,
It's a shame.
how can we, what we're learning today, and where would you apply what you just learned? In what situations would you apply the techniques that we're learning?
Yes, that can be.
I can apply it right where I am, because there are people who are in various stages. I'm not in the memory care, but I'm in the, just before the memory care.
That's great. What about you folks? Where would you apply the techniques that we're learning today? Any
I don't
circumstances?
know if they can hear you. Where would you apply?
Like the techniques like the hand under hand that we were learning, or help, going with them and pumping their hand to get their attention, or using their hand to
I always
help
meet
them.
people that way.
What situations would you use that?
New people. Or every week we're learning.
I don't know, I think maybe if they were
I've
reaching
seen
for
some people who are in independent.
you, you don't know whether they're reaching
Well, I've had
just
two
to
of
touch
them,
you,
two
or maybe
in
not.
memory care,
Maybe
and some in-
They really,
But yeah, this is a great approach. If you're introducing them or they're trying to introduce themselves to you,
See that
why not?
happening.
This is a great approach.
Mohammed, do you want us to show that real
Yes.
quick? So I'm going to show you guys what Mohammed just said because I think it's a really good point, especially with you're living in a mixed community of different people with different abilities. So I'm going to pretend to be a person with dementia, and I'm going to show you how Mohammed introduces hand under hand.
Hi, Jess. Hi. Hi. How are you? Hi.
Do you see how he got my hands without me fighting back?
Uh-huh.
Wasn't that cool? Because he was able to support me. So I wasn't even looking at him when he took my hand.
Right.
I was down here.
You were looking for something.
Yeah, I was busy. I was looking for something, right? Have you guys ever seen anyone in your community do that? That busy touch, touch, touch? Have you ever seen that before?
Not an independent.
Not an independent, yeah. Do you guys want to see it again, or do you think you got the hand
Yes,
under?
I'd like to
You want to see it
how you
again?
did that.
All right. So I'll do something a little bit closer to what you might see in independent.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
And did you see that I was actually going to touch his face there, and he did not want that to happen? So what did
But
he do?
I didn't swat away. I just went, I held, she came to my face, so I held Jess, hand under hand.
And you took your other hand.
Yeah, and then I came to her side. Right?
It's like a little dance, kind of.
Yeah.
And it's a little less traumatic for someone who has dementia and doesn't know what's happening than being swatted away.
Oh, yeah.
Because can you imagine if most of the interactions you had with people in your community, they were swatting you away? That wouldn't make you feel good as a person. So that's just a more compassionate way to deal with those sorts of
And
issues.
like we were learning earlier with what Jessica was teaching about how they cannot verbalize, or in the later stages, they're not able to communicate, but they can visually see. So if they're doing this, maybe all they're trying to do is say, what is the universal sign for greeting someone?
Oh, handshake.
Handshake, exactly. So that's what they're doing, is a handshake. They're not able to say, hey, my name is Joe, nice to meet you, but they still want to introduce themselves. So, we need to think about it from that perspective, where visually they can still see and process.
So we're going to introduce, I think we've already spoken about the sight, what was this one, do we remember? Hearing,
Auditory.
right? Auditory, yeah, perfect. And then this one,
Feeling.
touch. So let's get to the last two here, okay?
So the other two,
Smell.
what you smell and what you taste. Those are your five senses. Those are the ways you get data into your brain. So what are they? What you see, what you hear, what you feel and do, what you smell, and what you taste. These three are your skill manipulators. These two are strong and primitive. But people with dementia are just in the opposite way, like children when it comes to sensory data. Children develop which of these first? Curiosity or safety awareness? Which do they get first? Curiosity. Who's in charge of safety awareness? Someone else, not them. They could care less about safety awareness. They're curious about everything. They want to investigate everything. They're curious. They want to check it out. They have absolutely no safety awareness. Fortunately for everybody, they're pretty well padded. They have pretty quick reflexes. They don't have necks. And their heads sit right on top of their shoulders. They have a long torso. They've really got lots of padding everywhere for both insulation and padding. And their bones are not fragile. They're pretty dense. They bounce. When you get dementia, your brain fries in the opposite way it was developed. It dies, it fries. It's not working in the opposite way. So what are they going to keep? Curiosity. What are they going to lose? Safety awareness. Here's a heads up, you're not my mother. I resent it when you try to be my mother because I've lived a rich, full life. I am not 3 years old. I am not 18 months old. You don't treat me like that. And yet my skill set requires that you figure out how to create an environment that's safe for me. But it still has to have this or I won't stay there. But if it's too much, I get overwhelmed. If it's not safe, And I don't have what they have. I don't have padding. My bones are fragile. My fat pads have all gone to my trunk. I don't have any of my extremities. And I'm losing skills, and I lose them in the opposite way I develop them. That's the reality.
Okay, so let's look at that one more time. Let's go over our hand, because these are our best learning tools, right? So we got 5 senses that we use to take
So
information.
real quickly, we're going to go back.
Sorry. We've got 5 senses that we use to take information into our brain. Let's see if we can say them together. The first one is
Sight.
vision. Yeah, sight, exactly. The second one?
Hearing.
Hearing, auditory. The third
Touch
one?
and feel,
Touch and feel, right. The fourth one?
smell.
Smell, exactly. And the fifth one, like you're eating jam?
Taste.
Taste. Okay? Let's check back in with Tiva.
To our scenario. Because what I want you to realize, human beings, when they decide to go do something, what happened is I was sitting here and I got a call to my appetite. I'm thirsty. Core. Well, now the core of my brain is in the center part of my brain. Do this. This is the limbic system. This is that thrive to survive. This is the part that says I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I've got to peep, I've got to poop. And now it's time, and you guys are getting close to that. It's, look, temperature regulation. It's also how I fight infections. It's heart rate, respiratory rate. It's wake-sleep cycle. All that's in the core of my brain, in the limbic system. And then part of that limbic system, put your index fingers out, is my amygdala. Your amygdala is this survival thing. It's your impulse center. Yeah! Fight, flight, fight. Part of the limbic that's special. It's basically designed to protect you in moments of danger. So it's, shit, what was that? No, I don't like that. I want what I want when I want it. Do that. Oh, what was that? Because some of you can't say shit. I don't know why. You can in certain situations, but just not here in front of everybody.
So let's do it
what
together.
Was that? That's fright. Then, no, that's flight. I want what I want when I want it. Fight. Fight, flight, fright. Autonomic, automatic, basic core stuff. Then around the outside is built other stuff. The last part of a human brain to develop, put your hand right up here, is this one. Safety awareness. That ability to think things through, to be thoughtful, to consider your options, to control that limbic system, that autonomic system, and instead say, you know what, not a good idea. Hang on there. Let's not go right now. Let's wait a second. Making decisions. Initiating, sequencing, terminating, and being able to see something from somebody else's point of view. Very last part of a human brain to develop. There are some people who never get it. Just so you know. You know them. So here I am in the living room, and I decided to make coffee. Ah, that was my limbic system saying, you're thirsty, go get something. And I started to act on that, but what happened? Oh, look, gosh, telephone rang, an interruption, auditory. I knew what to do. I answered the phone because I recognized what it was. And then when I heard my friend's voice, I knew who it was, but I could not think of her name right that moment. That is normal aging. And here's why. What happens with normal aging is the following. Put your hand to the back of your brain. For each human being you've ever met, you take a picture, snapshot. If you see them multiple times, you have multiple snapshots. And you have them each in a file folder marked that person. But then, in order to come up with the name of that person, you have to go up here to the left, temporal lobe, and find your file cabinet for names. You have to sort down through the list of names to find the one that matches that picture. And then what you have to do, go over here, you have to do voice recognition and match it up, and then out of your mouth from this side comes the word, hey, Betty. Here's a reality check. Our speed of processing slows over time. It's basically 0.5 to 1% per year from the time you're 25 on. Yeah, around 40 to 50, you're starting to notice the slowing. And so I go to get the data, and it's like, the mouse is not clicking nearly as fast. Now, let me tell you something about these mouse. If you keep clicking that button, you freeze the mouse up, and the mouse goes, oh shit, I don't know what you want. Hang on, stop. I don't know what, wait a minute, I'm thinking. What am I thinking? I can't tell you anymore. You want me to think of something. I can't think of it. Oh, blank. It starts with a B. I got to the file drawer. I even got to the right area, but I couldn't come up with a name as quick as I wanted to come up with a name and the expectation. And so some of us go, oh, hey, sweetheart, how are you? I'm cheating. I'm using automatic system to cover for the loss. And some of you call me on it. Who do you think this is? Why are you so mean? One of these days you'll be older. You'll have that moment of, I know him. This is why we give you name tags. This is why name tags are a good thing. Because what did I provide for your eyeballs? Check, there it is. I don't need to look in the file cabinet. Look, I found it. So as you get with older people, you'll start to notice when you wear your name tag, they look at your name tag after they look at your face, and then they say your name. That's because they're smart. Some of you are doing it here. And if not, you hate when people call you on this. Why are we so mean? Here's what you want to learn how to do. Hey, Betty, it's Tifa. Why don't we talk like that anymore? We used to say things. There was a polite way that you did the telephone. We don't do it anymore. You go, hey, you know who I am?
Oh, yeah.
Or my least favorite, when you know somebody has dementia, Mom, which one am I? What is this, a quiz right away? I don't like you very much anymore. You're making me feel stupid. How many people like feeling stupid? Raise your hand if it's your favorite way to feel. We've got to quit doing this, because what ends up happening is you shut down my system, you don't make it work. Because right away you shoved your agenda at me. So when we go downstairs, which we are going to do, because you know what I'm noticing? Your limbics are starting to get really active. Y'all had coffee, maybe some juice, you had those, and your limbic is going, we need to pee. We need to pee now. I need to get up, I need to go pee. Can we go pee? I thought we were going to pee. Are we not going to go pee? I need to go pee. And so your limbic system is sort of queuing you up. We got to go soon. And it better not be long. And getting out of these chairs, we better be careful. Because also I will tell you, some of you have to cue the system up. And here's the first thing. Tell me what you do first thing in the morning when you want to go to the bathroom. You want to know what you do? Hold the pee. Because in the very beginning, your limbic said, we need to pee. And when you were really little, what happened when you needed to pee? You pee. As you get older, you learn, not here, not now. We have to put it in a place, a certain place. As you get a little older, these systems are not working as quick and sharp as you might hope. So you actually have to devote energy to hold the pee, make the other muscles work, but hold the pee, keep holding the pee, hold that pee. Keep holding it. Ooh, we're in the bathroom, do not let go. Hang on tight. Got to do a lot of other things. Keep holding the pee, hold back the pee while you go, okay, now put it down. Now the guys have another problem. Okay, now you can let go. Okay, really, you can. It just relax. No, don't hold on. No, come on, there's more. I'm telling you there's more. Come on, let's let it out. Come on. No, don't tighten up. No, that's not enough. So the women have stress incontinence and the guys have bladder outlet problems. They have retention. So this is the tricky part of getting old. It has nothing to do with dementia. But you put dementia on top of it, and we have big issues. When we meet back downstairs, what we're going to do is finish out the scenario and talk about skill building. And the whole thing is going to come together for you to help you appreciate how you can help people take in data and how you can use your skill to be supportive.
Okay, so have you ever had an interaction with a child where they started to do something unsafe because they were curious? So what was it? Can you share that?
What was the child doing?
They wanted to run into the street or something.
For curiosity?
Yeah.
Anything else? Anybody else? Any grandkids or your own kids? Back in the days?
I touched something hot.
Touch something hot?
It was hot.
Yeah? What about you?
Run into water.
What, yeah?
If you're at the lake, they'll just spontaneously run in and not think about how deep it may be.
So how did you handle that?
Probably very poorly.
Okay.
Well, you run after them
Okay.
and grab a hold of them
Okay.
to restrain them from going in.
What about you? You said hot stove.
Don't react quickly.
Swat them out, push them off. Okay.
Well, if I was taking care of my grandchildren, they would try to run away, and I said, no, we gotta stay on the sidewalk. And my one grandchild told me one time, she was probably 3 or 4, she said, we're not supposed to go in the street, otherwise you get flat. The car will run you over.
So given what we know now, does what happened make sense? So what we know about as when they're young and somebody with dementia, what happens? Are they more curious or are they all about safety awareness?
They may be oblivious to danger.
So they're more curious. So they're wanting to do it. They want to experience it. They want to do it. But they don't care about the consequences because it's not even in their system. They're not even thinking about it. Right? So now think about people living with dementia and ask the same question of yourself. Do you have a better understanding of what happened and why? So, somebody with dementia that you have dealt with, where they did something that was either out of curiosity or that's what they were doing, and can you relate to that now?
I think so.
You think so? Okay. What is one thing you plan to change in your care routine based on what you have learned and tried out on your partner? So what is one thing that you've learned today that you're going to use and utilize?
I want to be aware of the signs of dementia in myself.
Okay. Okay. How about you?
If it comes, when it comes.
What about you?
Talking to me,
Yeah.
it's complicated.
Complicated. Okay.
It's more being prepared for surprises.
Okay. Okay.
No, I really need to know what to say,
What to say?
and
That's coming.
so it doesn't
That's coming.
make things worse.
Yeah, we're getting there. Because initially we want to be able to do this, right? Like, if you cannot build a relationship with this person with dementia, then you cannot say something, right? So we're in the early stages of, because the first thing is visual, right? We take in visually, and person with dementia can still process visually. So that's why we're not getting to words yet. So just hang tight, we're getting there. What about you?
I can understand what my friend went through with her husband over the last 5 to 8 years. And just within the last month or two, he had to go into a nursing home. It was her job 24 hours a day. And they lived in a similar type place in Indiana on a separate house, you know, they all were all houses. But it was very difficult for her. I don't know how she did it. It got to the point where she woke up one morning, or I think it was during the night, and he was gone. She had to call the desk and get police to, and they found him walking nonchalantly down the street 2 blocks away.
And he was just curious.
I can understand what she's gone through in the last, really, 5 years.
What about you? What is your takeaway from this?
I think of personality.
I'm sorry, are you having a hard time hearing? Is that what's going on?
No.
Okay.
I think it's their personality changes.
Hey, Bev. Just checking in and seeing how you.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay to the end.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm gonna ask them to call me when it's over and I'll come get you.
the sound looking for me.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Okay.
My husband's looking for me.
Okay. So this is a great example. So this just happened. I'm thankful that you did that. Because she came in
Yeah.
and she did this.
Yes.
What did I see you do?
Yeah, turn and,
Not quite. You
No?
jumped.
oh, I jumped,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you weren't prepared for that,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
It just was, it was a,
that's it.
you had the fight or flight reaction
Yes.
when she first did that. The minute you saw who it was,
It was
you
fine.
knew who it was, then things changed.
Too late to hear anything.
No, we've still got about half the presentation left, so please join us.
So that's why our approach with hand in the hand is, if I'm doing it, if I'm the one that's looking to come to you,
Yes,
my approach would have been to come from here and then come in
up
front of
front.
you,
Yeah,
I
so I
said,
could see you. Yeah.
hi, right?
Right,
First, with the visual, right?
Because
Right.
visually, we want to know what's happening
right,
before somebody touches you.
right.
And I'm glad she did that, because that was
Yeah.
perfect.
So normally here we would take a little break, but we are running a little bit behind where we wanted to be at this point. So if you guys do need to use the restroom, please feel free to go ahead and do that, but we're gonna keep rolling with the presentation.
How much longer do you have?
Got probably about 45 minutes left.
How many?
45, it was supposed to be 2 to 4, it looks like we're gonna run 2 to 4:15. Is that okay? Okay. I'll try to be quick. So we'll check back in with Tifa.
We need to do a quick review because we've changed places. And one of the things we know about brains is where you learn and hear something matters. And one of the things as we get older, it matters more than you think. When you change rooms, your brain resets the screen. And that is one of the reasons, even if there wasn't a phone call, you might walk from one room to the other and then, what was it I came in here for? Because when you're in a whole new setting, look at all the new data that's coming in and it's bombarding your senses. And if you didn't strongly hook the thing you wanted to go do into that, what's called working memory, by the time you get to the new place, there's nothing to find. Unless you go back to where you had the thought before and then you can find it. Now, I just said a word that's really important, working memory. We now know there's a whole variety of different kinds of memory storage in the human brain. We used to just think it was either long-term and short-term. That's not true. Working memory is probably one of the most vital kinds of memories, and it involves a complex process. Do this. Working memory means that you have to wire together all parts of your brain to get it to work. Because it's complex, human beings can hold the following number of things in working memory. Working memory means I'm able to manipulate and work with them all at the same time. 5, put your hand up. 5, isn't that wonderful? 5 to 8. That's the most a human being can hold on to, and this is the least that a normal functioning human being should be able to hold on to at a time. 5 to 8. So I should be able to hold on to at least 5 pieces of information in my working memory. It's actually pretty complicated. I've got to do a variety of things to do it, but I can. So what I did when I wanted to make coffee, when I was sitting there and finished the TV program, I put make coffee in working memory. And then I went to a new place, and before I could get settled in the new place, the kitchen, which is where I would make the coffee, the telephone rings. So I didn't quite make it to the kitchen to establish the relationship, which would have allowed me to go ahead and do what? Make coffee. I could have finished it off, but instead, what happened is the telephone rang. Attention, attention, new data, incoming. So what I did is I went and answered the telephone, and the first thing, it was my friend. Now I got diverted a little bit, because what did I have to find? Because the way she did it. Her name, and so that took a little energy, so it's my friend Betty. And then she asked me a question, do you want to meet? She gave me data, at 2 o'clock, at the mall, at Macy's. She told me there was a new chocolate store that opened. And then I had to hold on to the information about that, and then I had to go find the thing that I know she likes. So I had to go do that, and it was the white, shut up, the white. Now that reaction was you trying to give me more data when I was already trying to work with data. And so what did you notice my little limbic did? Shut up, I don't like that. So shut up is a way to say you're trying to do too much and I didn't like that, and it's a fight system. It was an automatic. So people say, shut up, I'm trying to, would you leave me alone? That distress sign is just, you're trying to put data in and I'm already processing, do you mind? And what you want to say is, I'm sorry. I said, I'm sorry, I was just trying to help you. It's like, what part of I was trying to process data and you're interrupting did you not get? And what's our natural reaction when somebody says, shut up? No, I was going to tell you why I was interrupting you. That's what you want to do. Do this. Go ahead, do it. Y'all love diarrhea of the mouth. You get diarrhea of the mouth. You try to tell them even when they said, don't tell me. You ignore their message back to you because you have important, you want them to understand why you interrupted them. I don't give a shit why you interrupted me. All I'm trying to tell you is quit interrupting me so I can finish what I was doing. Now some of us are always that way, but guess what happens when you get dementia? Even if you weren't, you become more that way. Guess what happens when you're stressed? Same thing. So professionals, when you're trying to talk to families about, this is what I want you, well, shut up, I can't take it. Family members, you're trying to talk to another family member. I can't hear this right now, would you? Particularly, you're trying to talk to the one who's the primary, because you're observing that their behavior is not helping. And they're going, ah! And you're going, wait, I just want to tell you. What did they just tell you? I'm full, leave it alone. We have a hard time hearing that message, don't we? Because it means we need to do what? Take a time out, just shut up. And then when they pause, that's when you say, I'm sorry, I interrupted what you were doing. Because we want to work with them, not fight with them. And if you keep pushing your agenda, do this. Take your finger and poke at somebody with it. Go ahead, poke. How many of you like being poked with that? Would you just be quiet? So what I'm going to tell you, this is a critical message for you to get into your brain and appreciate. When I give you negative feedback, it's not because I'm trying to be ugly. It's I'm trying to get you to listen to me because you're generally trying to talk to me. So I put coffee in there, but all this other stuff. I filled up all the space. Not only the 5. I'm going to have caramels, but you're going to have coconut. And we need to meet at the menswear entrance. So what will I not have with me when I get there? The vacation pictures, and who will I not have called? Margaret, where's coffee? Well, I lost that a long time ago. That's not even on the table anymore. I mean, it's long gone. I don't even have a way to get to it anymore right now. Except, if you're a young person, you're young, and your wiring is really good and quick, what will happen? What's the first thing I did when I couldn't think what it was? I looked around the kitchen. So the first thing you do is you look around the kitchen. A young person hasn't done that much stuff in the kitchen. So they look around the kitchen and what do their eyes notice? The coffee pot, and they go, cha-ching, drop the penny. They don't have to go anywhere. You're a little older. You've done a lot of things in the kitchen. Some of them we want to talk about, some we don't. But you've done so many things in the kitchen, you can't look around the kitchen and get it to pop. So then you try system number 2. You always go in this order. You talk to yourself. Tell your children it's healthy. Because what you're literally trying to do by talking out loud is prompt the memory of why you came in there. You literally say to yourself, and everybody did it, I heard some of you all do it. Now what did I come in here for? Because now you've moved to auditory cueing. You're trying to cue yourself up, because if you say it out loud, maybe it will prompt what it was. It will be enough of a cue to get you to go, cha-ching, there it is. But that didn't work either. Because when you get a little older, it wasn't firmly enough embedded, and there's too many other things floating around now. I've lost it. So I have to actually physically travel back to the setup where I was. And then if you watched, I tried the whole thing all over again. I looked at the chair, I looked at the TV. I say to myself, I was watching TV, the program ended. And I still couldn't get it to pop until, cha-ching, there it was, right there waiting for me in my working memory. But I just couldn't get to it. Normal aging. That's absolutely normal. All of that is normal.
Okay, so we just learned about what normal aging looks like. Let's talk about kind of the features of normal aging. What are some things that Teepa was explaining to us that can happen in normal aging?
Forgetfulness.
Forgetfulness, sure. About slower to process the data. Takes a little longer to collect all those pieces that she was talking about. How about pausing when you're looking for a word? Think that's normal aging?
Sure, we all do it.
Yeah. What else do we think? What are some other indicators that are normal aging that Teepa talked about?
What is one thing she said, have your kids do? It's good that they do it.
Scream, tantrum.
No, speak to yourself.
Talk to yourself.
Talk to
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
triggers.
You forget why you were in the room, you go back and say, oh, that's why I went in the room.
Yeah, talking to yourself is great. I actually had an office mate who spoke to himself all the time because he would try to remember what he was doing. Okay, next I have to, and then I should, and the next thing I'm doing is. And having Teepa say it's a good thing makes me want to talk to myself a little more. So. All right, so we're going to talk to your partners. Mohamed, if you will jump in. If you don't have a partner and you want to talk to somebody, please feel free to partner up. If you guys want to make a group of 3, that's okay too. So what we're going to talk about is why do you think there's so much misunderstanding around what normal aging looks like? Why do you think that so often people see these sorts of signs and go, oh no, I have dementia? Can you talk about that for just a minute?
Because you don't relate sometimes to,
Pardon?
because you don't relate sometimes to an occurrence. You forget. Forgetfulness.
What do you think people?
Or you're slower.
It's a question that Jessica asked.
You're slower in
Oh,
responding.
yeah.
I didn't really record it that well.
What about you?
You're not listening
And you think that's normal.
what they're saying,
I think.
so
Normal?
over there.
You think it's normal?
Yeah,
As you get older, it's
So-
all.
and that's
Oh, yeah.
Senior moment.
Thank
It's a
you.
senior moment.
As a senior, you're
Goes
right.
over there.
We all say it, don't
And
we?
they
I'll
don't
give myself
remember
about half an hour.
what you said.
I couldn't remember somebody's name last night, dining table. Just before I went to bed, about 4 or 5 hours later, I said,
Yeah,
oh,
pop
that's
in.
her name.
You're right.
So I love what you just said. I think you hit on something really well. Normal aging, those senior moments. We're going to have
Yeah.
some forgetfulness. It's going to be a little bit harder for us to track and process, a little bit slower, completely correct. So all the learning we just did about normal aging, the last hour and 15 minutes, what are you going to take away from this and try to incorporate in your life? What do you now know about normal aging that you can use?
There's nothing wrong with you.
There we
Yeah,
go.
right, yeah. that's
Perfect.
right.
There's nothing wrong with you
Yeah.
if you're having these signs. What else can we take away from what we just learned and use?
You can respect what another person's going through,
Yeah, absolutely.
another family member of another
Yeah.
person that's having a hard time.
So, taking what we know about normal aging and what we've learned so far, I have a question. How would you greet someone now that you pass in the halls here at Shelburne Bay? How are you going to greet them?
You tell them your name.
Like this?
Depends on the occasion.
I
No.
No, you face them.
Yeah.
face them.
That's
Yeah.
People do that in the dining room. They come up behind you and tap you on the shoulder.
Do they?
It startled me.
That's
It
right.
startles you.
They do that a lot.
Yeah.
To say hello, but
Some
then I
people
don't know
can't
who
hear,
it is.
so you should really position yourself in front of that person.
Exactly.
In front of them.
So that's
As
the,
if they
In
can't
front of
hear
them.
you, but they're reading your lips.
That's right.
Yeah. So, so another part of normal aging is we talked about being a little bit slower to find our words. How are you going to engage with someone after this training if they're having a hard time finding a word? What are you going to do?
Patient.
Patient.
Be patient.
Let let it go.
Just let it go. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Recognize the problems.
Yeah, just give them a second. I have a hard time with this. I always want to offer the word. Are you talking about the mailman? No,
Yeah.
you mean, oh, you mean the pizza delivery guy. No, the guy in the truck who's got, so you're talking about the UPS guy? Like, I will try to offer. And what Tipa says is that's so frustrating for both people. So maybe giving a beat, waiting a second. So there was something that someone said earlier when they were talking about that phone call that Tipa took. You said you had a tool that you would use to help yourself remember more than 5 things. Can you tell me what that was?
A list with
A
a
list. A list with a pencil.
I make a
Perfect.
list every day.
Yes,
Yeah, so those are all great things. Take a beat when someone is struggling finding a word. Get in front of them, just like you said, if you're trying to greet someone, making sure you have that visual communication before you start the verbal, and definitely before you start the touch, right? We don't want to start here, because like you said, it startles you in the dining room, like we saw when she came up and tapped you, it startled you.
right.
So you don't want to start here, you don't want to start here, you want to start with that visual cue. I think that's great.
So, I don't mean to interrupt, but one thing that we talked about early on is, you know, when we get stressed, right, our cortisol level goes up. So what is one thing you're going to take away from here, from today, that is going to help you in reducing that stress level?
Relax.
Deep breaths, deep breathing.
Oh, deep breathing.
Relax. That's what I make.
Blowing it all out is going to reduce your stress level. Sorry, Jess.
No, it's okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about, so we've addressed normal aging. The topic of this talk is normal versus not normal. Now we're going to watch Tipa walk through what that same scenario would look like in not normal aging, that same phone call, but through the lens of someone with not normal aging.
I'm in the living room and I've been watching TV and the program ends and I said, well, you know what, I think I'll go make something to drink. Because that's, I'm going something, I'll make some of the stuff that you get. Doesn't make it. Phone rings. Hello? Hey, sweetheart. Yeah. Who is this exactly? Betty who? Oh. Well, why didn't you say? Okay. Well, what do you want? Me, today? Why do you wait till the last minute? I wish you'd tell me ahead of time. Well, I don't remember you talking about it at Bridge. Did you talk about it at Bridge? We talk all the time at Bridge. Your mouth runs incessantly. Huh? Well, okay, I don't mean to be mean, but you just talk a lot, that's all. What? Oh, you want to meet at the mall? Okay, well, that's fine. Which end? 2 o'clock? Yeah. Macy's. Well, honey, I don't think there's a Macy's at that mall. Where's there a Macy's? No, that's a J.C. Penney. It's a J.C. Penney's. I have a card with them. I have a credit card with them. I know what it is. I buy things there. What do you mean they moved out? No, I shopped there not long ago. There's no way they moved out. Did they just close up? Well, good Lord. No, that's still, you sure? I think you're wrong. Well, fine, I'll meet you at that end. I know what you're talking about then. Huh? Inside the men's, well, of course I know where inside the menswear is, but you better get to the right store. You're not going to be there. Huh? All right, well, fine, whatever. What? Oh, they opened a chocolate store. Well, you know me, I love that. That's my favorite. What? Well, I'll have caramel, and you'll get the, oh, you like the kind of brown hairy ball and the brown stuff. What do you mean, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the brown hairy ball kind that you like. You like the brown hairy ball. Do you speak English? Honest to God, get what you want. I don't give a shit. I mean, whatever. I'm going to start arguing about this. Huh? Well, no, I'll call her and see if she wants to come. That's fine. What? The vacation pictures? Oh, back on the boat? Yeah, I'll bring them. Wait till you see yourself in that Benson. Well, honey, you look like a cow. No, I'm telling you, your butt cheek is hanging out so bad. I mean, it looks I mean, you must have put on, what, 30 pounds? I mean, you're eating too many of the brown hairy ball things. That's what's going on. I mean, that's all I can tell you about it, because you got to be sucking them down because the way it's coming. Well, if you don't like looking the way you look, you should do something about it. That's what I say. Well, listen, do you want to get together? You can get an attitude. Well, then I'll see you there too. That's fine. I don't know why you're so stirred up. You're the one eating. All right, then. Shit. I mean, I don't know what her problem is. Lord, she gets an attitude. Now, let me think here. Oh. A dirty cup. A coffee cup. Now, I told my son that I was fairly sure that gypsies were coming in here at night and making coffee, drinking my coffee, and leaving dirty dishes, because I've never left a dirty dish in my life. And here it sits, a dirty coffee cup, partially drunk out of. I'll guarantee it has their provenance all over it. And I better go check the bathroom, because sure, when they get in here and get that, they'll steal toilet paper too. They always steal toilet paper. Look at that. See, the roll's empty again. They come in here and he thinks I'm not nuts, because I saw that it's gone. Well, I'm going to go down to the corner store here and get some toilet paper, because there's nothing worse than constipation, and you got to go and there's no toilet paper. You got to have some. So I go down to the corner store and I pick up a few things that I need, because I know there's some things I need. And I come back and I go to put them in the fridge and such. And there's another quart of milk in there. Well, I wonder who brought that by. I don't know when they brought that. Well, good. I can make use of it. It'll be fine. And let me go put this toilet paper up. You know, I'm not going to put it in here, because sure as hell they'll steal it just like they stole the other stuff. I'm going to go put this in the spare bedroom closet, because they won't think to look there. Okay, here we go. Oh my God. This is where they're keeping it until they can bring a truck to come pick it up. There's got to be 30 rolls right there. I'm going to hide it under the bed. They won't know where to look for it. At 10 minutes after 2, the telephone rings.